Hey Aries, welcome to January, or chapter 1 of this book called 2019, right? It's time for a new dance, a whole new dance. Some smoke is being cleared, there's some haze being lifted. I feel like the haze is for influence. And, there's this, look, you've been looking at yourself and the way you move and how it aligns with what you say you want out of life. And, I really get a feel like a pull towards romantic area, like there's, the way you move, the influences around you have really been a load. And I see you unloading that. Even if it means that it's just you, your thoughts, your words moving forward, I do get the feeling that you want to see manifestations in your life of what you really desire, and whatever it was that you were clinging to, wherever you had found home and comfort before, I see you just move in a different way. I don't feel like there's any discord or anything. I see that you are really seeing that you have been set apart from this group for a reason. You know what I mean? There are certain connections that will still remain as you set off on your own. But I feel there's going to be a huge separation of energy. So there's going to be either you're part of a group or collective or something like that, and you are identifying yourself as an individual first of all, and almost like any things that you've adopted from them, like if you are a musician or dancer, I even just said, it's like you're no longer making someone else's stuff popular. It's like you are now, or even trying to be like them or emulate them. It's like you're setting yourself apart, or you're acknowledging that you have been set apart, that you really didn't need this group or this place or community to be successful, not this one. I really get the feeling that it's past connections and people, just friends from childhood and things like that. But you're really doing a different dance. Very specifically, like if you're a musician, you're like moving away and finding new producers, new beat makers. I guess that's a producer, but people who will create for you instead of you picking from what they offer and then needing to create from it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So like if you're writing, I don't really know how the writing process goes really, but typically people will find a beat and then write to that beat, right? Or find inspiration to write in that beat. Well, now you are writing and taking it, or people finding you to say, hey, I want to put a beat to that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like this change, but only comes after you realize that you were never reliant on that group. Honestly, I get the word entanglement in my mind. It was just an entanglement. It was emotional ties. It was, long things that had been going for a long time. So friendships that has longevity, and even where you lived, like even if it's just your neighborhood or your community, it's as if you're finally allowing the connection to that place to fall away, especially if it was limiting you in any way. Also feel like, if you carried a player energy male or female. If you carried a player or non-committal energy before, you're now turning away from that with the Judgment card. Because it's like what I say I want, I actually want to see that manifest. And I know the only reason it's not manifesting is because I'm not actually walking that walk. Burden, and it's coming in the way. It's like you're carrying this. You don't have no room to grab this cup of what you asked for or what you want. So let's see what your meditation is for Aries, January 2019. I lovingly create health for myself. This meditation is referring to disease or dis-ease. My dis-ease is a valuable teacher. It is natural that I am healthy. It is natural that I am flexible, able to learn new things easily, to laugh, to change, and to grow. Dis-ease is related to resistance to flowing with life in some area and to the inability to forgive. I look at dis-ease as if it is a personal teacher that comes to help me on my pathway to greater understanding. Like all teachers, it is a stepping stone, and when I learn the lesson, I move on to the next phase of my healing. Every person on the planet is involved in healing their life in some area. I help my body, my mind, and my spirit live healthfully by creating a loving atmosphere around myself. It is my body and my mind, and I am in charge. 100%. Deeply rooting yourself in your own being, owning everything that is taking place, and I also get the feeling that for some, if you have contracted a venereal disease of sorts, there a lot of energy workers or holistic healers will tie that to sexual shame or any type of shame or restrictions in the sacral chakra. So you can totally address that. Yeah. So if anything, even if this is not physical disease, but it's just feelings of not belonging, feelings of anxiety, even depression, or even isolation, then you're understanding, you are listening to this and what they're talking to you about. When we feel the urge to isolate, sometimes it's depression, but sometimes it's the spirit realm needing us to be alone, to be one with their energies, to receive direction and guidance, to help us better understand our circumstance and our path. So I'm gonna give these one more shuffle. And we're going to look at Aries, how they're showing up in the month of January. Chapter 1 of 2019. King of Cups. I really feel like that you are gaining some emotional maturity. You are gaining better understanding of your own feelings and how they, when they are projected outward, how they affect your environment, or I say projected, but even just expressed outwardly, how they can affect your environment. When this is, what's the term, emotional intelligence. So it's one where I'm able to better deal with them. If I'm feeling unsure about something, I'm not going to just make the other person feel unsure too. You know what I'm saying? So this is emotional intelligence, meaning that I address my own feelings and my own emotions. I don't make anybody else responsible for them, and I don't make anybody else pay for them, okay? You're having that epiphany. You're having an epiphany of sorts. It's higher, and it's Empress. It's about owning who you are and really mastering self so that you can be fertile ground for manifestations, for seeds to be planted for manifestation is what I'm getting. You're closing a cycle, definitely closing a cycle with this epiphany. It may be some type of shakeup in your environment. That's a result of your past immaturity regarding emotions and feelings, okay? And what I feel now, though, is that you are softening yourself. If you were rigid or evasive or distant before, you were avoiding the depth of your feelings. And so now I feel like you're exploring those depths. You're allowing them to be put on display even, I get the feeling. Like, look how much I've learned, look how much I've grown, and not from an egotistical standpoint, but from a progressive place. You know, I've this is where I was once, and this is where I am now. I've come out of the fire. I lit the fire with my immaturity, and I've come out of it with greater understanding of self, more confident. You know, I'm healed. And for some people, your actual health, whether that's mental or physical, is improving. Maybe you go to seek someone out for their help with some type of something that you're dealing with in January. I keep hearing for some that might be a counselor or just someone that you see as knowing or wise, you know. With the yellow and the reds, I feel like this is definitely a confidence thing of who I am, where I belong, what I'm about, and there's a balancing or there's a healing in those areas, in that area. Like, if I take this hat off today, does that make me any less? If I decide for this next year to focus on this endeavor, does it make me any less of a musician? No, you're still a musician. You just have turned your focus to creating in a different modality. How other people seeing Aries? Resistant to change. They could be seeing you as, yeah, with the Chariot is at the bottom here. People could be seeing that you had been resistant to change, that, you know, when things aren't necessarily going the way you envision them going, you know, you could turn away and pick up a very immature energy. You know what I mean? So this is about like payback, and I want to get back at you for this. And so that's this energy. People have seen you in that before, and perhaps they see you evolving. You know, the Page of Cups is here. With the Justice card and the Strength card. So there totally could be this sense of evolving, balancing all of these 8 and 11. It comes back down to 2. So it's like, wait, sorry, it comes back down to 1. So where are these things initiated from? And I feel like the people around you may even I want to say be jealous, but it's almost like you took something and turned it into something else. So they're wondering, is it fair that this person gets this, or what makes this person better than me? And all it is that you have now you've grown into yourself, and you stepped away from the need for, not for support, but you're not putting who you are as a creator or who you are as a being into the hands of someone else. And people like to have that power. You know what I mean? People like to know that you need them. So, you know, I feel like for you, your handlers, people who have always been the people who kind of manage what you do, what you say, what you, how you feel, or have told you how you're supposed to feel, those people are now seeing you as kind of breaking free from that and coming into balance on your own, coming into your own being. There could also be some maybe I don't need to say it, but there. So even this, this is not how you are showing up or how they're seeing you, but I do get this energy of you winning some type of battle that you didn't think you would win. It's almost like you prayed about this, like you definitely had to trust in a higher power, and you almost acknowledge that that higher power is the only way that you overcame this thing. And if it's a healing, then that makes sense. You're like, this isn't supposed to be able to be healed, but it's gone, type of thing. Energy here. So with career, 9 of Wands, Temperance, 9 of Coins. Yes. So this is totally tied to that whole energy of the influences and the people that feel like they contribute to who you are as a person or who you are as an artist or whatever endeavor. I'm picking up a lot of artists or really creative energy. So it feels as if you have come into balance with yourself and you're confident in your ability to be an independent entity, you know. And I say independent, but that just means you don't rely on that same group of people who feel as if they are what makes you shine. That's that energy that I'm picking up. You know how hard you've worked to help people on their projects, to write. If you're a songwriter, then you've written people, you've been ghostwriting, or you've been even, they always reach out to you to feature on their tracks, but they don't offer as much support when you are putting something out on your own. So they always offer seek your support and help in theirs, but when you're doing yours, you don't always see that same love given back. This could be in anything, but I feel this creative energy. You though are becoming more and more confident that you are the one who has the key to your success. You know, I don't get the feeling that in January is when you see it, like the results yielded, but I think internally you're coming to this place of understanding that you're the one who holds the key. That if anything is out of whack with your project or your environment, that you have the key to fix it. I also get that you could be learning that you have more skills too, that change your reliance on these other parties, change your relationship with them. So if you learn that you can do this, this, and this, then your relationship with these people changes, because now that's not what you need them for. Could also experience some separations from people now that you realize that they really didn't serve any other purpose than that. You're really proud of yourself though, and what you have overcome, what you've dealt with, what you've endured, even a project that's probably near completion for you. You know, whoever mixes, this is crazy, I keep getting this whole music vibe. Whoever mixes and masters your music, you know, you probably had some conflicts of interest there. Not conflicts of interest, but like just conflict about what direction this was supposed to go, or how you wanted this to be specifically. And even though you've endured that, you now see that you can have control over your projects, over your endeavors, over the things that you are passionate about. Romance, Queen of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands. Yeah. In romance, you are making a shift. I feel like this is you making this shift from turning your back on something that seems difficult. You know, I feel in January maybe you'll communicate with somebody that you walked away because you didn't know if you wanted to take on such responsibility. This person could have other obligations or just things that they are responsible for, and you didn't know if you wanted to step into it. I really get this energy of if the person has children or the way they work or they travel or whatever, you didn't know if that was something you just didn't know if that was something that you wanted. Um, I get the fact that you could also be expressing to someone a romantic interest. Um, how it made you feel when they walked away or they turned cold on you. Um, what it did to you, or the burden that it placed, that you carried because of it. Or you could also be turning this around to the other person and saying, I've been blind to how my lack of effort or what I was unwilling to give to this situation has affected you. And going forward, I want to be able to do more. I want to be able to um, I want to be able to create a sense of balance in the situation. I want to contribute to balance in the situation. For some, you'll be having some light shown on something you were blind to before. You'll be receiving a higher perspective on something that you once saw as a burden. In my mind, I heard, losing someone or something will open your eyes to the fact that something in your life was never a burden. It's something that it'll basically make you see it in a different light, make you honor it and appreciate it more. Spirituality. Mm. For me, I feel as if you had a false start in your spiritual journey. So like, I say false start, but you were beginning to meet people, have interactions that were of a higher vibration, and you know something else was offered to you, an opportunity of sorts or just a connection was offered to you in order to blind you. It was meant to test you to see if you would see it for what it was, that it was just looking to distract you from your path, and not only from your spiritual growth but also in career too. I get that. Or even passion, something that you were beginning to have passionate feelings about. Something came in, maybe an air sign, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, came in and wanted to distract you. And so now you're seeing the distraction for what it was. In January, you will see this. What's being left behind by Aries? Any concerns? I feel like this is really tied to romance or your capabilities. Any thoughts that you have ever been incapable of meeting a standard? I get the feeling that this is not even a standard that really existed, but one that was internal. And it was all rooted in how you just felt about self and how the examples that you've had in the past. That the World card, the Hermit, and the Four of Swords, meaning that you've been going within yourself. You recognize that false start on your journey. False start means that it started, but then you didn't continue it because you got distracted. And now you're inside of yourself, or in the month of January, you will be going inside and really, really pulling the curtain back on some things that have blocked you from bringing all these things that you desire into fruition, opening your world up to what's really possible. You know, some of you may have been really just kind of thinking kind of small, and that small thinking was just a residual effect of your own the emotional immaturity, the lack of real knowing who you are, the lack of self-understanding, self-mastery. So, could be dealing with a Virgo, but something there was meant to distract you. And you're realizing what caused you to fall for that distraction in January. You're leaving behind any thoughts about not being enough. And then you're leaving behind self-deprecating thoughts about your appearance, about your ability, your process. What's coming in for Aries? Yep. Sun, Six of Cups, Eight of Swords. Yeah, so that makes sense. Whatever you were, if this is connected, I feel like it's romantically connected for this Aries, this group of Aries, but just take it as it resonates. There's definitely, with the Four of Swords here, with the Eight of Swords, you definitely went inside to find deeper insight here about, somebody, you could have felt like someone who you were pursuing was still interested in a past lover, or you could have been over attached to a past lover and still kind of childish and playing little tit for tat games with that person. You could have seen someone else as more mature than you, and maybe even discounted yourself from a situation, sabotaged yourself. But I feel like coming in is the Sun, the Six of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. So something that you once didn't think could ever be successful again. This could be the parent of a child, you co-parent with this person. You may have avoided going into future relationships or even partnerships in business, or taking different opportunities because of this dynamic that you had with this co-parent. And I think that healing is coming in for it. So you've gained some maturity, you gained some deeper insights, and this person has also matured. And so now you're able to have a more successful connection and really balance things out with one another. I also feel like there is a success in your near future, as something that you have worked at this and even put things out little by little, and now you do find a success. It seemed like it was that you had missed this opportunity. I feel like this opportunity returns to you. You thought that it was behind you, but it returns to you. And yeah. I feel I need to pull one more card out. Oh yeah, and it's stable. You can count on it having staying power, longevity. You can count on it yielding lasting results. I feel like this is the quickest reading that I've done today. What message do we have for Aries for January 2019? Aries, January 2019. Chapter 1, 2019. Oh, that one popped out. Definitely take it on higher perspective. 103 and 5. Definitely taking on higher perspective, listening to clues, nudges to do something, maybe even just communicate with someone. I do also feel like, there's a renewal, a revival, a return of vitality, a return of optimism, and then even good health. Psalms 103 and 5. He satisfies you with good things in the prime of life, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. You have more than enough strength. At long last, you know yourself. Wow. Love it when they line up. You know your strengths, your weaknesses, and your limitations. Congratulations. The work you've done on yourself has paid off. You now know how to stay out of your own way. Your best days are not behind you, but ahead of you. Come on, let me show y'all these cards. Come on. Your best days are not behind you, but ahead of you. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Whew. Oof, goodness gracious. Enjoy your second wind, your mighty second wind. You have the fortitude necessary to accomplish your goals, even those you thought were once beyond your reach. You once thought that they were beyond your reach. Question, why? Answer, from a Jewish mystical perspective, the human soul can be likened to a radiant river fed by 5 streams of light, each brighter and purer than the preceding. Through Ichida, which enlivens the connection between the soul and its source, infinite strength flows into a person, enabling him or her to accomplish the near impossible. It appears as though you are such a person. May your strength increase. Yes, we talked about that. Whatever this endeavor is, whatever the connection is, even if it's your health and you thought, hey, I can't be healed, you can be healed. You have it. You have it. You have the strength. Your vitality has returned. So in January, man, it looks like you're getting a good start to the year, taking all those lessons, all the healing that is taking place, and really soaring to new heights in multiple areas of your life, it seems. It's almost as like all the things come together to create this new being for you, Aries. All right, that's it. Thank you, Aries. Come back to the flowering for your chapter 2, which is the February reading. Also, hit like, subscribe, thumbs up, share, comments. I'm always happy to have you guys. Thanks.